Hey, my friends, welcome to the Dallas Daily Show coming at you from the Neighborhood Loan Studio here in St. Louis, Missouri. Today's topic is one word to describe you. All right, let's get into it. All right, so yesterday we talked about this idea of the boys being home for summer and the shifting and adaptation. And this whole week we're kind of focusing on this idea of some of the stuff I'm learning from my kids here during the summer break. One of my favorite things, though, was my son Arrow, who he's 8 years old, and what he and his classmates did was they did this great little exercise where they all wrote on these little pieces of paper here, these little pieces of paper, they wrote one word to describe that person. So all of his classmates, like 23 or 24 people, all wrote one word to describe what they had learned about Arrow in their year together in class. And then he got to bring home all these little pieces of paper. My wife and I laid them out and we got to read them together. And of course, there were several different words, but the one that of the 20 something kids in his class, the one word that was more than any was kind. And I think there was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 kids that wrote kind, and several wrote funny. My kid, imagine that. Funny. Several wrote brave. And strong, several of them wrote strong, but kind was the number one word that people thought of when that these other kids and other classmates thought of when they thought of my son, which was amazing. And I just started thinking, for you and I, what's one word if people were to say it about us? A couple years ago, I was doing a branding exercise. I was working with a brand strategist, and she had me post on social media, "Hey friends, choose one word to describe me." And she even had you say, "Don't worry, I've got my big boy pants on. Just one word. I'm doing this branding exercise. When you think of me, what's one word that comes to mind?" And I, of course, had a bunch of funny, but also I had a bunch of people say words, very similar things like resilient or go the extra mile or try again. Granted, those aren't one word, but work with me here, folks. The number of people, though, that said words that were thesaurus-like toward the word resilient, I found very fascinating. Like about 20% of my friends who responded to this, that was their word for me. Creative, ingenious, not genius, ingenious. I found out they're totally different words. But creative, storyteller, funny, crazy, like all of that. Quick-witted, charming. I got charming a bunch of times too. And I thought to myself, what an interesting thing that is people's snapshot of me. And kind and funny and strong and brave were the snapshot that people had of my son. A lot of adults will call him charming too, because he just will charm your socks off if you let him. And I'm just sitting here thinking, what about you? If you were to do this exercise, I think it would be a great exercise for you to actually post on your social media. "Hey friends, I'm doing some branding research or customer research, and I want to lean into one of my personality traits that really is warm for people. Describe me in one word." That would be a really fascinating exercise for you to do, because what you're going to see is you're going to see this idea, and I think it's on Thursday or Friday's episode this week that we talk about this concept that a different version of you exists in everyone's mind that you've ever met. But the idea here is it would be fascinating to know how people see you. So I encourage you, do it. Or just text it out to like 10 or 12 of your friends and say, "Hey, when you think of me to describe me in one word." Now, you're always going to get the snarky people who go, "Well, this isn't one word. Here's a hyphenated word, right? This isn't one word, but here's 3 separate words that describe." Whatever, fine, take it. But I would be interested to know how people experience you. And if you feel as though you are failing in any way, it might be interested to know the perception that you're giving off to the world, so that people can actually maybe lift your emotions a little bit. Maybe you're going to hear warm, kind, fun, charming, hilarious, right? Loyal. Maybe that's one you hear. Trustworthy. Strong character. I don't know. What is it about you that people experience? I think it would be a worthwhile thing for you to explore. Sometimes we get so in our head, and sometimes the biggest critic exists between our two ears, and sometimes we talk ourselves down. I wonder what it would be like if you knew how others experienced you, because you're wonderful and beautiful and smart, and you are trustworthy and loyal and all those good things. And so let others testify of how amazing their experiences with you are. All right, that's it. That's all I got for you, my friend. Be kind, be courageous, be brave, be bold, be funny, be smart, be amazing today, and have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to DallasDailyShow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share.